Chosen one. Listen carefully. Something is moving beneath the surface of your life. You can sense it, the subtle shift. The holy pressure of heaven drawing you closer. This is not random. You are not scrolling by chance. You are being summoned into awareness because a wealth transfer, unlike anything seen before, is already unfolding. This is not just about money. It's about calling, stewardship, and light piercing darkness. Imagine the ground under your feet trembling, not in destruction, but in birth. For years, treasures have been buried, dreams, assignments, provisions hidden like seeds waiting in winter. Now the season changes. The soil cracks open, like rivers bursting their banks after a storm. The hidden flows come rushing to the surface. They don't rush to everyone. They find those who stayed faithful in obscurity, those who whispered prayers no one heard, those who held their integrity when compromise was easier. That's you. There is a story of another chosen one, a man who worked long nights cleaning offices while dreaming of creating opportunities for others. Everyone told him it was foolish to keep giving when he barely had enough for himself. But he continued to sow, to plan, to stay ready. Then one day, after years of being unseen, a door swung wide. A partnership, an idea, a favor that catapulted him into a level of influence he never imagined. His hands had been trained in obscurity to hold abundance without breaking. The Spirit whispers, "This is a pattern, not an exception. Your waiting is not wasted." Look at the world right now. Towers of false security are shaking. Markets flicker. Empires built on arrogance tremble like sand castles at high tide. The very systems people trusted are exposing their fragility. In that chaos, God is positioning His chosen ones as steady pillars, like lighthouses on storm-shattered coasts. Ships drift in the darkness, but your light will guide them. Your voice will calm them. Your hands will carry resources to rebuild what's broken. But this requires courage. It will not be enough to believe quietly. You will be called to step into rooms you never imagined, to speak when others hesitate, to sign your name on assignments heaven already wrote. This is not about arrogance. This is about obedience. To shrink back now is to forfeit what has been prepared for you. And if your heart is burning as you read this, it is not emotion, it is confirmation. Heaven's scroll is being opened over your life. This is your summons. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Haggai. Chapter 2, verse 8. The silver is mine, and the gold is mine, declares the Lord Almighty. That is not just a verse, it is a reality. Everything shifting on the earth belongs to Him. He is transferring it, not for greed, but for glory. He is entrusting it to those who will not bow to idols, but will use it to heal, to build, to free. Pause for a moment. Ask yourself, where have you been faithful in obscurity? Where have you held on when quitting seemed easier? Those very places are about to become testimonies. Those very scars are about to become credentials. So here is your step now. Like this message if it speaks into your spirit. Share it, so another chosen one may awaken. And leave a comment below as your declaration of agreement. This is not ritual, it is alignment. Comment your number right now. 1. If you are stepping into obedience. 2. If you are declaring faith over fear. 3. If you are ready for the shift. Let your words echo into the atmosphere. And if you have not yet subscribed, do it now, because the journey does not end here. What is coming next will mark you deeper, lift you higher, and position you for the very transfer heaven has already declared over your name. And remember this: obedience today is the seed for tomorrow's overflow. Every act of faith, every step you take, even when no one applauds, is writing your legacy. Do not despise the small beginnings, for they are the foundation of great towers yet to rise. Your story is not behind you, it is unfolding now. You have been carried through valleys so that you would stand steady when the mountain of abundance appears. Heaven is not only preparing resources for you, heaven is preparing you for the resources. That is the real shift. So lift your head. Take this word as your confirmation. Step boldly. Comment below. Let your voice be counted. And keep walking forward. The silver and the gold belong to the Lord, and He is entrusting them into the hands of His chosen ones, into your hands. You are here because you have been marked for this moment, long before you were born, before the world even knew your name. Heaven wrote your identity into the scroll of time. You are not a background character in someone else's story. You are a chosen vessel in the unfolding plan of God. And the times we are stepping into require clarity. The coming shift is not designed to crush you, but to reveal you. Think of a diamond buried deep within rock. For years, it is unseen. It lies hidden in the darkness, pressed by weight and pressure, until one day a miner strikes the right blow. In an instant, the stone that was invisible becomes visible. It is cut, refined, and placed where its brilliance cannot be ignored. That is the picture of your life. You have endured pressure, seasons of being overlooked, times of heaviness, not because you were abandoned, but because you were being prepared to shine when the moment of unveiling arrived. There was once a young man in Scripture, Joseph, who carried dreams too large for the season he was in, betrayed by brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, thrown into prison. Yet each step was a training ground. What looked like delay was divine positioning. He was marked by God, and no pit or prison could erase that mark. When the shift came, when famine shook nations, Joseph rose overnight into authority, not for his own comfort, but to steward resources that would preserve life. That same pattern echoes in your story. You have been misunderstood, set aside, tested, yet the mark of God remains on you. Even your wilderness has been sacred training. Those nights of wrestling with doubt, those days of silence when it seemed no one noticed your faithfulness, they are the soil out of which strength has grown. You may not have realized it, but while others rushed to platforms, you were being rooted in secret. Now, the shaking of the world is revealing who has roots and who only had leaves. You are about to discover that your hidden years were not wasted. They were the very reason you will stand firm when others collapse. Sometimes the enemy tries to convince you that being overlooked means being forgotten. But the truth is, heaven never misplaces a chosen one. The silence is not abandonment, it is calibration, like an arrow drawn back. The tension only increases the force with which it will be released. And chosen one, you are about to be released. According to what is revealed in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you. These words are not a suggestion, they are a command. a mantle placed upon those whom God has set apart. Strength and courage are not optional. In this season, they are essential. You are not walking into the unknown alone. The same presence that sustained Joseph in prison will sustain you in your process. The same hand that lifted him in a single day can lift you in a single moment. Picture a candle placed in a jar. The jar may hide it for a while, but the flame still burns. When the jar is lifted, the light is undeniable. Your season of concealment is ending, and what God has marked in you cannot be covered anymore. The billionaire shift, the shaking of wealth and influence, is not just external, it is also the lifting of jars. Hidden ones are being revealed. Silent ones are being given voices. Marked ones are stepping forward into what they were created to carry. This is why comparison is so dangerous. Your path is unique. To look at someone else's timeline is to miss the precise design of your own. A pearl is not formed in the same way as gold. Both are treasures, but each requires different pressure and different seasons. Trust the process God has chosen for you. You are not late. You are right on time. And when the doors open, you will see why it took so long. You will realize that every delay was protection. Every silence was strategy. And every hidden place was preparation. You will not simply enter rooms, you will carry authority within them. You will not just receive provision, you will know how to multiply it. That is the difference between those who are chosen and those who are merely chasing. Chosen one. You have been marked for this exact hour. Your identity is not fragile, nor is it negotiable. The shaking of nations will not erase it. Instead, the shaking will reveal it. Chosen one. There comes a point where silence is no longer an option. You have carried burdens in secret. You have endured seasons where your prayers felt like whispers in the wind. And yet, here you are, not broken, not crushed, still standing, still carrying the light. That is no accident. It is the fingerprint of God upon your life. Think of a tree that survives winter. Its branches may look barren, but beneath the soil, its roots are drinking deeply, waiting for the season to turn. When spring comes, it does not merely survive, it blossoms with a beauty that shocks even those who had forgotten it was alive. That is you. This season is not the end. It is the preparation for an unveiling that will astonish many. Your pain has not been wasted. Every sleepless night, every tear, every disappointment, they were not signs of weakness, but of endurance. While others crumbled, you were being forged like steel in fire. And now, as the billionaire shift unfolds, you are not stepping into it weak or unprepared. You are stepping into it refined. Heaven chose you not because you were perfect, but because you were willing to remain when others ran. There was once a chosen daughter who felt invisible in her own family. She worked in silence, helping others succeed. Always overlooked when blessings were distributed, yet she remained faithful, serving with joy. Years later, the very people who ignored her found themselves coming to her for help, for wisdom, for provision. What happened? The tables turned. Heaven had been watching, and the shift came suddenly. Her hidden faithfulness became the key to her public authority. That is what is happening for you. The shift is not just financial, it is positional. Doors are opening that no man can shut. Relationships are forming that will accelerate your assignment. Strategies are being whispered to you in the quiet that will become blueprints for the future. The Spirit is aligning every step you take with heaven's timetable. The Apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." Oh, do you see it? What you carried in tears is about to turn into weight in glory. What looked small is birthing something unshakable. This is why your endurance matters. It is building capacity for what is coming. Now, chosen one, here is what I ask of you. Mark this moment, not with hesitation, but with faith. Write in the comments, "Shift me, Lord." Len, these 3 words are not just text on a screen. They are surrender and activation in one breath. When you type them, you are inviting heaven to move you from where you've been stuck into the place you were meant to occupy. You are declaring readiness to be repositioned, to be stretched, to be trusted with more. You are opening the door and saying, "I will not fight your process, I will flow with it." As you write it, let it echo in your soul. Say it aloud. Feel its weight. Shift me, Lord, from fear to faith, from lack to abundance, from hiddenness to visibility, from waiting to walking. This is your turning point. Chosen one. The atmosphere responds to faith, not hesitation, and heaven is waiting for your declaration. When you type, "Shift me, Lord," you are stepping into alignment with a reality larger than yourself. You are giving God permission to rearrange what man cannot, to redirect what seemed impossible, and to accelerate what was once delayed. It is more than words. It is the posture of your spirit. Heaven responds to humility and surrender faster than it responds to prideful striving. Consider what a shift means. When a river shifts its course, it carves new channels, floods new lands, and brings life to places that were once barren. When a wind shifts direction, it changes the sails of ships and redirects their destiny. In the same way, when you invite God to shift you, He will not only change your path, He will also change the lives connected to you. Your obedience creates ripples far beyond your vision. Do not fear the discomfort of the shift. Every shaking is designed to loosen what no longer serves you. Old mindsets, expired relationships, unnecessary burdens, they fall away in the movement of God's hand. What looks like loss is often divine pruning, and pruning always precedes growth. When you say, "Shift me, Lord," you are embracing both the pruning and the promise. So let your declaration be clear, strong, and unwavering. Do not whisper it timidly, but write it boldly, knowing that heaven records your faith. The very act of declaring places you on a new frequency, one where fear loses its grip and courage takes root. This is your moment to move. This is your moment to rise into what was always written over your life. The shaking of the world is not random. When structures tremble and economies wobble, it is not simply the chaos of man, it is the hand of God exposing what was built on sand. The billionaire shift is not merely about wealth changing hands, it is about the foundations of trust being tested. What people relied upon for decades is proving fragile, and what was dismissed as insignificant is being revealed as eternal. Think of the great towers men built in the story of Babel. They rose high with confidence, united in pride, determined to reach heaven by their own strength. But in a single moment, God scattered their plans, not because He feared their tower, but because he would not allow arrogance to become their foundation. The same is happening today. Towers built on greed, corruption, and exploitation are crumbling, and while they fall, new structures, quiet, faithful, unseen until now, are being raised up. The image is like an earthquake. When the ground shakes, the tallest buildings often fall first, while the small houses built low and steady endure. That is the picture of this era. Those who exalted themselves are being exposed, while those who humbled themselves under God's hand are rising. Chosen one, you must see the shaking differently. It is not sent to destroy you. It is meant to position you, like a farmer shaking wheat to separate grain from chaff. The trembling removes what has no weight and reveals what is worth keeping. You are the grain, the treasure, the substance that remains after the shaking. Scripture gives a glimpse of this reality in the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 12, verses 26 and 27. At that time his voice shook the earth. But now he has promised, once more I will shake not only the earth but also the heavens. The words once more indicate the removing of what can be shaken, that is, created things so that what cannot be shaken may remain. Do you see the pattern? God himself uses shaking as a filter. Not everything around you is meant to last. Not every connection. Not every system. Not every voice will survive the tremors of this season. But you, anchored in him, will remain unshaken. Look closer at your own life. How many times have you thought a shaking was the end, only to look back later and realize it was a beginning? Perhaps you lost a job, and it felt like devastation, yet that loss opened the door to something greater. Perhaps a relationship ended, and the pain cut deep, yet the freedom it brought positioned you for growth. The very moments that felt like breaking were often the birthing of something sacred. One chosen man once shared how, during an economic collapse, he lost nearly everything. Friends mocked his faith. Family doubted his decisions. Yet in the ruins, he discovered creativity he didn't know he carried. He began small, building with scraps, trusting that God would not waste his tears. Within years, he was leading a business that not only sustained him, but blessed countless families. The collapse that others feared became his catalyst. The world will call it luck, but you know it is not luck, it is alignment. Shaking does not favor the strongest in human terms. It favors those rooted in the eternal, like an oak whose roots twist deep into the earth. Storms may bend it, but they cannot break it. The superficial may look impressive, but when winds come, only the deeply planted survive. This is why you cannot afford to anchor yourself to what the world praises. Wealth without God will not endure. Status without purpose will collapse. Influence without righteousness will crumble. But when your foundation is built on the rock, no earthquake can undo you. It is as if the stage is being reset. Curtains are falling on one act, and another is about to begin. The spotlight is shifting from the proud to the humble, from the loud to the faithful, from the glittering towers of man to the steady lighthouses of God. And you are one of those lighthouses. You are meant to stand when others scatter, to shine when others hide, to hold steady when the world trembles. Chosen one, understand this. The shaking is mercy. It prevents you from clinging to what cannot last. It spares you from building your hope on sand. It clears the stage so that when God raises you, Nothing will compete with His glory in your story. The world is trembling now, but the trembling will reveal who you really are. Chosen one. Your light is not ordinary. In the middle of chaos, you are the flame that refuses to go out. You may not always feel strong, but the truth is that your very presence carries a strength others cannot explain. And when the world shakes as it is shaking now, your life becomes a testimony of hope. Imagine yourself as a lamp in a dark house. The electricity fails. The entire building is swallowed in blackness. But one small lamp continues to glow. People in every corner of the house are drawn toward that light. Not because it is the brightest in the world, but because it is the only one that remained when everything else went dark. That is who you are in this season. You are not only surviving, you are shining. And your shining will not just guide you, but guide many. But listen closely. Your light is not for you alone. A lamp hidden under a basket cannot fulfill its purpose. A seed kept in a jar will never multiply. In the same way, your gifts, your calling, your resources, they are meant to flow outward. The billionaire shift is not about hoarding, but about distribution, about becoming a channel of heaven's provision. There was once a chosen son who saved for years, holding every coin tightly, afraid of running out. He lived carefully, but also fearfully. His hands were always closed. So nothing could leave, but neither could anything enter. Another chosen one lived differently. She gave freely, not out of wealth, but out of trust. And she discovered that her open hand never ran empty. Streams of provision found her again and again. The secret is this: what flows out also attracts what flows in. Scripture says in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verse 38, "Give, and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap." No, this is not manipulation. This is law, the spiritual law of sowing and reaping. The ground only produces when a seed is released. Now, I need to speak plainly to you. This message flows freely, given from the Spirit, meant to stir, strengthen, and awaken you. If it blesses you, if it speaks into your life, I invite you to support it, not out of pressure, not out of obligation, but out of joy. Think of it like watering a tree that has given you shade. When you water it, the tree grows stronger, its branches stretch wider, and the shade reaches more people. Your support, whether by sharing, subscribing, liking, or even donating, keeps this light burning and reaching those who need it most. No one is forced. No one is measured by the size of what they give. God looks at the heart, not the number. One coin given in faith can carry more weight than a mountain of gold given with pride. So here is what I ask, humbly and sincerely. Like this message, if it strengthens you, it is as though you are lighting a small lantern in a vast hall, saying, "This flame must not be hidden." End quote. Share it, so that another chosen one, wandering like a traveler lost in fog, may find direction through the beam of this light. Subscribe, if you have not, so that you remain anchored to this stream of living words, like a tree planted by rivers of water, never cut off from its source. And if you feel led, if the Spirit whispers, consider donating. Think of it as placing another log on a fire. The fire already warms you, but with your piece of wood. It grows, it spreads, and soon others, cold and weary, will gather around its heat. Imagine for a moment a candle factory. If only one candle burns, the light is limited. But when many invest in more candles, suddenly entire cities are lit. That is the picture of what happens when you sow. Let me say again, this is not requirement. The word has already reached you. The seed has already been planted in your heart. This invitation is simply a chance for you to participate, to become part of the river flowing outward, to know that the light you are receiving is not stopping with you, but is flowing through you. Chosen one. Generosity is not measured by wealth, it is measured by willingness. God sees your hand. But more than that, He sees your heart. And every act of generosity becomes a testimony written in eternity. So stand tall in this truth. You are chosen to shine. You are chosen to give. You are chosen to carry resources, not just for yourself, but for a generation waiting in the shadows. And every act, whether a like, a share, a subscription, or a gift, becomes another spark in the fire God is building through His chosen ones. The world is shaking, but you, chosen one, are shining. And together, our lights will blaze until the darkness has no place left to hide. Chosen one, listen. There are times when heaven interrupts the noise of this world to draw you into something deeper. This is one of those moments. The billionaire shift is not random, it is intentional. And while the world is trying to calculate profits and losses, God is asking a more pressing question. Who will align with me? You have seen signs already. Dreams stirring, strange confirmations, a sense that your life cannot remain where it has always been. It is not imagination, it is the Spirit nudging you forward. The shift is here, and it is summoning you into agreement. Think of the ocean when the tide begins to turn. At first, the waves move subtly, almost unnoticed. Then the pull becomes stronger. Undeniable. Soon, the entire shoreline testifies that the tide has shifted. That is what is happening now. You feel the pull, the stretch, the movement inside you, because heaven is aligning your steps with what is being released. There was once a chosen one who nearly gave up. They had prayed, fasted, served, and yet doors seemed shut. One night, while sitting in silence, a verse came alive in their spirit, and they realized their prayers had not been ignored, they had been stored. The season of waiting was never wasted, it was building weight for the release. Within months, the very opportunities that had been closed suddenly opened wide. What changed? They aligned their heart with God's timing instead of fighting it. Scripture says in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 18, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. And do you hear the weight of that? Your current pain is not the final story. It is preparation for a glory beyond measure. When the shift breaks open, you will understand why the waiting was so intense, why the warfare was so heavy. You were not being punished, you were being positioned. But alignment requires action, not empty rituals, but prophetic acts of agreement. Heaven is calling you, not just to hear this word, but to mark it with faith. There is power when the unseen in your spirit becomes visible in your declaration. And so right now, as you listen, I call you to step forward with a simple but profound act. In the comments, declare your faith with the number 717. Why 717? Because it represents divine completion, paired with fresh beginnings, perfection, meeting, renewal. When you type it, you are saying, Lord, finish what you started in me and birth the new thing you have prepared. I release the old, and I embrace the new. Then, this is not superstition. This is alignment. It is saying with your action what your heart is already whispering, I trust you. And heaven honors the smallest seeds of faith. Picture a blacksmith at work. He takes rough metal and places it in fire. He hammers it, bends it, shapes it, until what was once raw becomes a weapon, sharp and ready. That is what God has been doing with you. The fire was not to destroy you, it was to refine you. The hammering was not to harm you, it was to shape you. Now, as the shift comes, you are not raw, you are ready. Chosen one. Do not underestimate what happens when you obey, even in small things. The widow who gave only 2 copper coins did more in heaven's eyes than the wealthy who gave with pride. The boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish carried enough to feed thousands because he placed it in the right hands. Your act today, whether it is typing 717, praying boldly, or stepping into obedience, ripples into eternity. The world looks at numbers and calculations. Heaven looks at obedience. The world looks at strength. Heaven looks at surrender. The world looks at what you hold in your hand. Heaven looks at what you are willing to release. So let this be your step of release. Comment 717, not as a routine, but as your faith marked in the open. It is a prophetic key turning in the lock of your destiny. It is you saying, I will not miss the shift. I will walk through the open door. And as you do, know this, your declaration is not small. It joins with countless others. A chorus of chosen ones rising across the earth. Together, it becomes a sound in the spirit that darkness cannot ignore. The tide has turned. The doors are opening. The shift is here. And you, chosen one, are stepping into alignment. Chosen one. Now, we move deeper into the heart of this unfolding shift. You have heard about wealth being transferred, about doors opening, about hidden ones being revealed. But let us pause and understand something crucial. It is not enough to simply receive. It is about learning how to carry, how to steward, how to multiply what heaven places in your hands. Picture a vineyard. The land is fertile. The vines are planted, and the grapes are heavy with potential. Yet, if the harvest is left untouched, the fruit will rot. If it is mishandled, the wine will sour. Stewardship is the difference between abundance becoming a blessing and abundance becoming a burden. In this billionaire shift, God is not simply placing resources in your path, He is teaching you to handle them with wisdom, humility, and courage. Think of Joseph. When the wealth of Egypt was placed under his authority, he did not squander it. He stored grain during the years of plenty, not because he was greedy, but because he understood stewardship. And when famine struck, he had enough, not only for himself, but for nations. That is the model for you. Your hands will be trusted with something that outlives you. The wisdom of Proverbs speaks clearly. Chapter 3, verses 9 and 10. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine. And notice the pattern. Honor first. overflow. Second, many chase overflow without honor, but it cannot last. When you anchor your abundance in honor, the flow never dries. Stewardship is also about perception. Do you see resources as yours or as entrusted to you? When you see them as yours, you clutch them tightly. When you see them as entrusted, you handle them with care. That difference changes everything. There is a story of a chosen one who built quickly. Opportunities came. Money flowed. Influence grew, but pride whispered, "This is all because of you." They began to hoard, to boast, to forget the giver. In time, the flow dried up. Another chosen one, with less to start, honored every step, gave freely, remained humble. Years later, they stood steady, their resources multiplying while others collapsed. Chosen one. God is not raising you to be a reservoir. He is raising you to be a river. A réservoir word. Afraid of losing. A river flows, confident in its source. Which one are you becoming? Think again of the vineyard. The grapes are crushed before they become wine. That crushing is not cruelty, it is transformation. The seasons of pressure you endured were not meant to destroy you. They were shaping you into someone who could pour out, someone who could handle the weight of blessing without breaking. Your hands must learn balance. Open enough to give, strong enough to hold, wise enough to release when the Spirit says, release. This is stewardship. It applies not only to money, but to time, to relationships, to opportunities. Each is a gift. Do not despise the small training. Managing little with faithfulness makes you trustworthy with much. The parable of the talents reveals this. The one who multiplied the little was given more. The one who buried it lost even what they had. That parable is alive in you. Every decision, every act of obedience is multiplying something unseen. Chosen one. Your calling is not only to receive in this billionaire shift, but to carry with wisdom. You are not being raised to be a collector of wealth, but a distributor of life. That is the paradox of stewardship. The more you release, the more you are trusted with. This is the hour to sharpen your discernment, to ask not only, what can I gain, but also, what am I meant to build? For chosen ones are not measured by what they consume, but by what they create. So prepare your hands, prepare your mind, prepare your heart. Stewardship is the bridge between receiving and multiplying. And the shift before you demands more than open hands. It demands faithful ones. Chosen one. Remember this, the true measure of wealth is not in what you gather, but in what you release. Your stewardship today is shaping testimonies tomorrow. Every choice to honor, to solve, to build with integrity, is an echo that will outlive you. The world may not see it now, but heaven records it in full. Do not shrink back from this call. You were not chosen to live small, but to carry responsibility with strength. Let your life become like a well that never runs dry, drawing refreshment for you, but also for generations who will drink from your obedience. Chosen one. The battle you face is not only about opportunities, finances, or open doors. It is much deeper. The shift you are stepping into is contested in the spiritual realm. Before resources flow, before positions are established, there is always resistance. That resistance is not proof you are failing, it is proof you are advancing. Think of a battlefield at dawn. The fog hangs low, the silence heavy. until the first trumpet sounds. Warriors take their place, not because the fight is comfortable, but because the cause is greater than their fear. That is what your life feels like in this season. You sense opposition. You feel the weight of unseen resistance. But that is because you are standing at the edge of breakthrough. The scriptures remind us in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." This is why things often feel heavier than they should. It is not merely human obstacles in your way, it is spiritual forces that fear your rising. Darkness has always trembled when chosen ones approach their moment. You are not only fighting for yourself, you are contending for the territory your life will influence. There was once a chosen man who shared how every time he was on the verge of progress, strange opposition would arise. Projects delayed, relationships fractured, sudden storms appearing without explanation. For years, he thought it was coincidence. But one night in prayer, he realized it was warfare. From that day, he began to confront the resistance, not with despair but with declaration. He prayed boldly, stood firmly, and pushed through. What once felt like endless delays suddenly turned into a season of rapid acceleration. This is what you must understand. Opposition is not the end. It is the evidence that you are close. No thief breaks into an empty house. If darkness is resisting you, it is because you carry something worth stealing. But it cannot be stolen when you remain in the authority God has given you. Picture yourself as a lighthouse in a storm. The waves crash violently. The wind howls. Yet the structure stands firm because its foundation is anchored in rock. Ships see the light and find safety. Even though the storm rages on, you are that lighthouse. The warfare may be loud, but your foundation is not moved. There is a mystery here. Sometimes God allows the warfare not to weaken you, but to awaken you. Pressure forces you to sharpen your weapons. Resistance teaches you to strengthen your stance. Without a battle, you would never discover the depth of your courage. Without resistance, you would never realize the authority you carry. The battle is not punishment, it is preparation. Think again of David before Goliath. He was marked to be king, but the crown did not come immediately. Instead, a giant stood in his way. The giant was not a curse, it was a doorway. When David faced him with nothing but a sling and faith, the victory catapulted him into recognition. The very battle that looked like a threat became the platform for his destiny. Chosen one. The same is true for you. The resistance before you now is not blocking you, it is preparing to reveal you. What seems like your greatest obstacle will become the testimony that defines your rising. Do not misinterpret the battle. The fire you walk through will not consume you, it will refine you. The waters that rise will not drown you, they will lift you higher. Every strike of the enemy only proves the value of what you carry. And while you may feel weary, you are not fighting alone. Heaven surrounds you. Angels war on your behalf. The Spirit strengthens your hands. Even when you feel like letting go, you may not see it. But in the unseen realm, the victory has already been written. So take heart. The spiritual warfare over your life is not the sign of defeat, but the announcement of destiny. Every chosen one passes through it. Every crown is forged in conflict. Every torchbearer learns to carry flame through winds that try to extinguish it. Chosen one. Lift your head. The opposition you face today is proof that you are standing at the threshold of something greater, and soon, what resisted you will become the stage that reveals you. Chosen one. Hold steady. The storm is loud, but it cannot last. Beyond the resistance lies revelation, and beyond the battle lies your crown. Stand firm, you are almost there. Chosen one. There comes a moment when silence is no longer enough. You have listened, endured, and carried the weight of unseen battles. But now the shift requires your voice, not long speeches, not complicated prayers, just the sound of faith breaking the atmosphere. Think of a trumpet in ancient times. Armies would not move until the trumpet sounded. That sound was not long or complex. It was short, sharp, decisive, and yet it was enough to mobilize thousands. That is what your declaration does in this season. It does not have to be elaborate, it just has to be true. The scriptures remind us in the book of James, chapter 4, verse 7, submit yourselves, then, to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Do you see the power in that? Resistance is not always about effort. Sometimes it is about agreement. When you align with God and speak from that place, darkness cannot remain. It has no choice but to flee. There was once a chosen woman who lived under years of oppression, doors constantly shutting, people rejecting her. Strange heaviness in her home. She kept silent for too long, thinking she was powerless. One day she began to speak the promises of God aloud, declaring them into her atmosphere. At first it felt strange, but soon she felt strength rising. Within weeks, the heaviness lifted, opportunities came, and peace returned. What changed? Her voice. Her declaration broke the silence that the enemy thrived in. And now it is your turn. This shift cannot be walked out silently. Your words are keys, and they must be turned in the lock. Here is your step of faith. Go to the comments and write, unshaken today. No, do not dismiss it as small. Those two words are like a hammer striking the ground. When you write them, you are declaring, I may face storms, but I will not be moved. I may be pressed, but I will not be crushed. I am unshaken today. Picture a mountain standing through centuries of weather. Winds howl, rains flood, even fire scorches its slopes. Yet it does not bow. That is what you are declaring when you type unshaken today. You are not waiting for the storm to end. You are proclaiming that you remain immovable in the middle of it. Chosen one. The enemy's greatest weapon is intimidation. If he can convince you to be silent, he has already won. But when you speak even with simple words, you disarm his hold. That is why your declaration matters so much. So let these words sink into your spirit. Unshaken today. Not because of your strength alone, but because of the rock you are anchored to. The same God who split seas, who calmed storms, who shut lions' mouths, is the God who steadies you now. And when you declare it, do not only see yourself, see generations behind you who will be steadied by your faith. See nations that will be impacted by your obedience. See doors that will swing wide because you refused to fall when everything around you shook. Chosen one. Type it boldly. Let the atmosphere hear it. Let heaven record it. Let darkness fear it. Unshaken today. When you declare unshaken today, You are not pretending the storm is light. You are acknowledging it fully, yet refusing to bow beneath its weight. Faith is not blindness, it is vision beyond the surface. You see the waves, but you also see the hand stretched out above them. This declaration is also a shield. Words have power to build walls around your heart. Fear may knock at the door. Doubt may whisper at the window. But when you speak unshaken today, you reinforce your spirit with the truth that God's presence surrounds you. A guarded heart cannot be easily stolen. It is also a seed. Each time you write or speak these words, you are sowing them into your future. Seeds do not show fruit immediately, but in time they grow, and when tomorrow's challenges arrive, you will find that your roots are already deeper, your stance already stronger, because of what you planted today. Moreover, it is a banner. In ancient battles, armies carried banners, not just for decoration, but as a rallying point. Soldiers looked to the banner and found courage to fight on. Your words become a banner over your life. They remind you, and those who watch you, that faith still stands even when the ground shakes. So, never underestimate the small act of typing unshaken today. It is faith wrapped in simplicity. It is courage disguised as ordinary words. And in heaven's eyes, it is a trumpet announcing that a chosen one refuses to fall. Chosen one. You were never meant to move through this life empty-handed. You were designed to carry oil in your lamp, bread in your basket, and seed in your hand. The billionaire shift is not just about receiving wealth, it is about becoming a vessel, a channel through which heaven's abundance flows into the earth. And in this season, you are being positioned not as a beggar in the field, but as a builder of barns, a planter of vineyards, a light beer for many. Picture a river flowing through a barren land. Where the river goes, grass rises, trees sprout, and life awakens. But if the river is dammed, the land withers. Your life is that river. When you allow what God pours into you to flow outward, it multiplies, bringing life to others. When you hoard or fearfully block it, the flow dries up. Generosity keeps the river alive. Generosity is not only about money, it is about heart. It is about time given, words spoken, encouragement offered, prayers lifted. Yet resources are also a language of love. A gift can travel where your hands cannot go. Feed someone you may never meet. Sustain a work that will outlive you. Scripture reminds us in the second book of Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 6, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. The soil of generosity always produces. The question is, will you place your seed in the ground? Now, I want to speak to you with tenderness. This message you are hearing, it costs you nothing. You receive it freely. And I give it freely, because that is the flow of God's Spirit. But like a vineyard that must be watered, this light must also be sustained. If the words bless you, if they lift your soul, then consider this. Would you water the vineyard that has given you shade? Like this message, if it spoke to you, it is as if you are dropping a stone into a still pond. The ripples stretch far beyond what you can see. Share it if you sense someone else needs this word. It is like opening a window in a stuffy room. Suddenly, fresh air rushes in for another soul to breathe. Subscribe, if you have not, to To subscribe is to anchor yourself like a kite tied to a steady hand, no matter how the winds blow. You will not drift away from the stream of truth. And if you feel stirred, consider donating. Imagine it as planting a young tree in a desert. It may look small at first, but one day, its shade will cover many, and its fruit will feed those you may never meet. Generosity is a beautiful paradox. You never truly lose what you give. Instead, it returns, multiplied, reshaped, often in ways you cannot predict. A chosen one once told the story of how they gave their last small offering, trembling with fear. Days later, unexpected provision appeared exactly what they needed. They learned that God is never outgiven. The soil of heaven always responds to seed. Yet, remember, this is not pressure. You are not required. The invitation is not a chain, but an open door. You are free to walk through it, or not. But know this: every step into generosity makes you more like the Father himself, who gave his Son, his Spirit, his love freely, lavishly, without measure. Chosen one. You are called not just to shine, but to spread the flame. You are called not just to drink, but to pour. Every action like share, subscribe, donate is not a rule, but a rhythm of generosity, a rhythm that keeps the river flowing, the fire burning, the vineyard alive. The world is shifting. Resources are shaking loose from the hands of the proud and flowing toward those who carry honor. You are one of those. And as you align yourself with heaven's flow, you will see abundance not only enter your hands, but pass through them into the lives of many. So take your place as a vessel of generosity. Let your life be the river, the vineyard, the kite in steady hands, the young tree in the desert, and may your open hand draw heaven's overflow again and again. Chosen one. Do not underestimate the quiet beauty of an open hand. What you choose to release becomes part of a story larger than your own. It circles back in ways you may never fully see. But heaven sees it all. Your generosity is never wasted. It is a thread woven into eternity's tapestry. Each act, whether small or great, becomes a light carried forward, and through it, generations, yet unborn, will feel the warmth of your faithfulness. Chosen one. Every blessing that flows into your life carries both weight and warning. The billionaire shift is not only a moment of elevation, it is also a test of the heart. What you do with what you are given determines whether you will stand or stumble. For the same fire that purifies gold can also consume wood. Think of a crown. It looks beautiful when placed on the head of a king or queen. But if it is too heavy for the neck beneath it, it will crush instead of honor. In the same way, influence and resources can either be a mantle or a millstone. That is why heaven trains you not just to receive, but to carry without breaking. We have seen it in Scripture again and again. Saul was chosen, anointed, raised up, yet pride crept in, and the crown that once was his glory became the symbol of his downfall. Solomon was blessed with wisdom and wealth beyond measure, but his heart turned to idols, and his abundance became the snare that weakened his legacy. The lesson is clear. What you cannot surrender to God will eventually enslave you. According to the writings in Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 18, pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. End of flee. This truth is timeless. Pride blinds, greed corrupts, and arrogance isolates. And these are the very traps waiting for every chosen one who steps into abundance without humility. But there is another path. Look at Daniel. He was elevated to high positions in foreign kingdoms, yet his heart remained steady. He refused to bow to idols. Even when threatened with death, he fasted, prayed, and remembered who gave him wisdom. Because of his humility, his influence endured. His wealth was not just in gold or position, it was in the respect of kings and the favor of God. Chosen one. The Spirit warns you, the greatest enemy of this shift is not lack, but pride. When resources multiply, the temptation will whisper, "You did this by your own strength." When opportunities open, another voice may suggest, "You deserve this more than others." If you listen, you will stumble. But if you remember that every good gift flows from the Father, your steps will remain steady. Consider also the subtle danger of greed. Wealth has a way of promising security, but only God is your security. If you clutch resources too tightly, they will control you. If you chase more without purpose, you will never feel satisfied. Greed is a fire that devours endlessly. There was once a chosen one who rose quickly in business. They gave generously in the beginning, remembering where they came from. But as influence grew, so did the desire to control. Slowly, their giving dried up, their heart hardened. Within years, everything they built collapsed, not because of lack of opportunity, but because the greed they served consumed the very foundation they stood on. Now contrast that with another chosen one who started with little. Every step, they whispered, "This is yours, Lord." Every gain, they gave thanks. Every setback, they sought guidance. When their resources grew, their humility grew with it. They became a fountain in the desert, pouring life wherever they went. To this day, their impact is still felt. Why? Because they guarded their heart. Chosen one. You too must guard your heart. Think of it like a city wall. Wealth and influence are like treasures inside the city. But if the walls are weak, enemies rush in and steal it all. Your wall is humility, prayer, and obedience. Without these, the treasures cannot remain. This is why God emphasizes character before crowns, roots before fruit. The deeper your roots, the more weight your branches can hold. If you try to bear fruit without roots, the tree will topple. But if your roots grow deep in the soil of humility and faithfulness, no storm, no weight, no temptation will uproot you. You are entering a season where many will fall to pride, greed, and arrogance. Do not join them. Let your story be different. Let your testimony be that of one who received much, but never forgot the source. Chosen one, you are not called merely to possess. You are called to steward. You are not called merely to rise. You are called to remain. And the key to remaining is to remember, all is grace, all is gift, and all is for His glory. So walk carefully, with eyes lifted and heart bowed low. Let humility be your crown and obedience your shield. For in guarding your heart, you will not only endure the shift, you will thrive within it. Chosen one, you stand at a threshold. The ground beneath you has shifted. The atmosphere around you feels charged, and your spirit knows This is not ordinary. You are living in a prophetic moment, a crossing point where what has been hidden will be revealed, and what has been delayed will suddenly accelerate. But with such moments comes the call to respond. Heaven does not just whisper for information, it whispers for activation. Every time God moves, He invites His chosen ones to align in faith, not with endless words, but with prophetic acts that mark the shift. Think of Israel standing before the Jordan River. The waters were at flood stage, impossible to cross. But the priests carrying the ark were told to step into the edge of the water. Only when their feet touched did the river part. Faith always requires a mark. In the same way, your mark today is not complicated. It is not heavy. It is simple but weighty in the spirit. There was once a chosen man who kept journals of his prayers. For years he wrote faithfully, even when it seemed God was silent. Then one day, as he looked back, he realized every prayer he had written had become prophecy fulfilled. The act of writing had been his way of saying, "I believe even when I cannot see." That same principle lives in your life. Your declaration today is a seed that will meet you in the future. Scripture reveals in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." N1. This word is alive for you. The appointed time is approaching. The delay is breaking. And heaven is urging you, make your stand clear. So here is your step. Chosen one. Go to the comments and type 122. Why 122? Because it speaks of Psalm 122, a song of ascent, a declaration of going up into the presence of God, a prophetic picture of rising from the valley into the courts of the King. When you write 122, you are declaring, I choose ascent, I walk upward, I lift my life into God's presence, trusting Him to establish my steps. No, it also carries another meaning. The number 1 represents unity with God, and the double twos symbolize established witness together. 122 becomes a picture of heaven and earth agreeing, of God confirming His word with strength. When you write it, you are not just typing numbers, you are sealing your alignment with heaven's order. Picture a traveler climbing a mountain path. Every step upward feels heavy, but each step also reveals a broader view. That is what you are declaring with 122. You are choosing to ascend, to rise, to move upward despite resistance, knowing that higher ground is your portion. There is a chosen daughter who once stood in the middle of discouragement, overwhelmed by losses. She read the words of Psalm 122. I rejoiced with those who said to me, let us go to the house of the Lord. Something stirred. She wrote 122 as a reminder that her life was not descending, it was ascending. Within weeks, strength returned, doors opened, and her spirit lifted above despair. What changed? Her declaration aligned her with ascent. Chosen one. When you type 122, you are saying, I will not remain in the valley. I will climb. I will rise. I will stand in the courts of the Lord, and my story will ascend into His glory. Oh, this is not superstition. It is a prophetic act. Numbers in the Bible are not random. They carry weight, meaning, and echoes of eternal truth. And when you align with them by faith, you step into that echo. into that promise. So type it boldly, declare it openly. Let the atmosphere know that you are not sinking, but ascending. 122 is your mark of faith in this moment. And as you do, you join countless others who are also choosing ascent. Together, your declarations become like steps on a staircase, lifting a generation into the presence of God. This is your appointed moment. The valley is behind you. The climb is before you. And the courts of the King are your destination. Chosen one, let the number 122 be more than digits on a screen. Let it be a banner over your life. It is the sign that you are choosing ascent, choosing to walk toward God's courts, even when the climb feels steep. Every declaration is a step higher. Every word a stone laid on your upward path. When you write 122, you remind yourself and all of heaven that valleys do not define you, mountaintops do. Your journey is not downward into despair, but upward into glory. And in that ascent, you will see clarity, strength, and purpose that could never be found at the bottom. Chosen one, the shift before you is not only spiritual, but also deeply practical. Many imagine that when God moves, it will come like lightning from the sky, sudden, miraculous, undeniable, and sometimes it does. Yet often, His shift flows like a blueprint, like quiet instructions whispered to your spirit, guiding your steps into alignment with His greater design. Think of Noah. The flood was global, but the instructions were personal. Build an ark, plank by plank, room by room. It was not glamorous, not quick, not convenient, but obedience to the blueprint became the doorway to survival. In the same way, God is giving you a pattern, a strategy, not just to endure the shaking of the world, but to thrive and multiply in it. Blueprints are not always loud. They arrive in subtle nudges, an idea that won't leave, a conversation that confirms, a dream that repeats, a verse that burns in your heart. Each is a line on heaven's design. When you collect them, honor them, and walk them out, you step into the exact positioning the shift requires. The prophet Isaiah spoke in chapter 30, verse 21, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." And this is how the blueprint unfolds, not as a manual dropped in your hands, but as a voice guiding your steps, sometimes one at a time. It is not about speed, but about accuracy. There was once a chosen one who felt paralyzed by indecision. Too many paths, too many risks, too much noise. Yet one morning in prayer, a single phrase rose up in his heart: "Start with what is in your hand." He obeyed. Even though it felt small, that one step opened doors he could not have planned. Looking back, years later, he realized every breakthrough traced back to that one moment of obedience. The blueprint had been there all along. He just needed to honor it. Chosen one. The billionaire shift is not a lottery. It is not random. It is not about waiting for fortune to fall from the sky. It is about alignment. It is about walking faithfully into the blueprint heaven has drawn over your life. Each step is positioning. Each act of obedience is foundation. Each risk taken in faith is another wall raised on the ark of your destiny. Do not underestimate small instructions. David was told to deliver bread to his brothers on the battlefield. a simpler task. Yet, in doing so, he met Goliath. That battle opened the doorway to his kingship. The blueprint was hidden inside a mundane assignment. This is why you must tune your ears. In a world of constant noise, heaven's whispers can feel faint, but they are never weak. They are precise. They are the difference between wandering and walking, and in this season, precision matters more than speed. Picture an architect drafting a great building. Every line matters. If one measurement is off, the whole structure risks collapse. God is the master architect, and your life is his design. To rush ahead without listening is to build walls on shaky ground. But to pause, to listen, to follow, this is how you build something that lasts through storms. Chosen one. Your role is not to invent the plan, but to obey the blueprint. Creativity is welcomed, but it must flow under obedience. Ambition is natural, but it must bow to direction. The blueprint is bigger than you, but it requires you. Without Noah, the ark was just an idea. Without obedience, blueprints remain paper, but with obedience, they become vessels that carry generations. And that is what this season is about. Not just your breakthrough, but generational impact. The blueprint you follow today will shelter others tomorrow. The ark you build with obedience will carry your family, your community, even nations through the floods of shaking. Chosen one. The blueprint is already in motion. Look back. Can you not see how pieces that once felt random now connect? That encounter years ago. That prayer you prayed. That door that closed. All of it was alignment. None of it was wasted. The master builder wastes nothing. So, walk carefully. Listen deeply. Honor the whisper. Do not despise small steps, for they are lines in a greater design. And remember this, you are not wandering blindly. You are following the architect of eternity, and his blueprint never fails. Chosen one. Lift your eyes and trust the process. Even when you cannot see the full picture, each step of obedience is a stone placed firmly. The blueprint stands sure, and your life will reflect his perfect design. Chosen one. As the blueprint unfolds and your steps align with heaven's design, you must prepare for acceleration. There comes a point in every divine journey where progress shifts from slow, almost invisible growth into sudden, undeniable breakthrough. Seasons of waiting stretch long, but when the appointed time arrives, doors open so quickly it almost overwhelms you. Think of a seed in the soil. For weeks, months, perhaps even years, nothing seems to happen. The surface of the earth looks unchanged, and anyone watching might assume the seed is dead. Yet beneath the ground, roots are weaving, strengthening, anchoring. Then, in one moment, the shoot bursts upward. What looked stagnant was actually preparation for sudden growth. This is the rhythm of God: slow roots, sudden fruit. The scriptures speak of this rhythm in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 22. The least of you will become 1,000, the smallest a mighty nation. I am the Lord. In its time I will do this swiftly. Swiftly. That is the word you must carry in your spirit now. What seemed delayed will suddenly accelerate. What looked impossible will unfold quickly. The pace will shift, not because of human effort, but because heaven has decreed, the season has changed. There was once a chosen one who endured long years of obscurity, no recognition, little progress, many nights of discouragement. Friends advanced, opportunities passed, yet they remained in stillness. Then, without warning, one invitation came, a meeting, a connection, a moment they could not have orchestrated. Within months, their life transformed, their influence expanded, their impact multiplied. When they looked back, they realized the suddenness was not random. It was the appointed time, chosen one. That same appointed time is hovering over your life. You may feel like the seed still buried, but acceleration is near. And when it comes, it will not be partial, it will be full. It will not be slow, it will be swift. The key is readiness. Acceleration without preparation can destroy. Consider a chariot. If the horses bolt before the driver holds the reins, chaos follows. But when the driver is steady, acceleration becomes power under control. That is why your hidden years mattered. They were the reins placed in your hands, training you to steer when the speed increases. Think also of Joseph. In one day, he went from prisoner to ruler. That is acceleration. But he was ready, because years of stewardship in obscurity prepared him for authority in public. If the sudden door had opened without the hidden training, the weight would have crushed him. Instead, he was ready to govern, not just receive. Chosen one, your sudden moment is not far. The challenge is not whether it will come. The challenge is whether you will be prepared to stand in it. The Spirit has been shaping you quietly for this very reason. Acceleration also requires discernment. When many doors open quickly, not every door is meant for you. Some are distractions, disguised as opportunities. Others are traps clothed as blessings. Only discernment will help you know which doors to enter. And discernment comes not from rushing, but from pausing to hear the whisper. This is the way. Walk in it. Oh, there is also a weight that comes with suddenness, the weight of responsibility. With increased speed comes increased reach, and with increased reach comes greater accountability. You will not only influence your own household, but also many who look to you for guidance. That is why acceleration is not a gift to be taken lightly, it is a mantle. Imagine standing on a hill after a long climb. The climb was slow, grueling, exhausting. But once you reach the top, the view expands in an instant. You see valleys, rivers, mountains you never knew were there. That is acceleration. It changes perspective in a single moment. And once you see from that height, you cannot return to thinking small. Chosen one, take this as assurance. The slow seasons were not wasted, they were essential. The hidden years were not punishment, they were training. And the suddenness that awaits you will not crush you, it will confirm you. So steady your heart, keep your ears tuned. Do not despise the quiet, for it is ending. Do not resist the speed, for it is coming. The seed is breaking soil. The chariot is moving. The blueprint is unfolding swiftly. And when acceleration comes, remember this, it is not random chance, but divine timing. It is the signature of God saying, now, and chosen one. Breathe deeply and be ready. The sudden shift will not pass you by. It is coming with purpose. And when it arrives, you will know it was always for you. Chosen one. The journey you are walking is not meant to be walked alone. Light is brightest when it multiplies. Fire burns hottest when the embers gather together. And rivers become mighty when many streams flow into one. What God is doing in your life is powerful, but it becomes even greater when it joins with the lives of others who are also chosen. Think of a single candle in a dark cathedral. Its flame is fragile, yet it still pushes back the shadows around it. Now imagine 100 candles lit side by side. The darkness cannot compete. The light grows warm, alive, undeniable. This is what happens when chosen ones walk together, when voices, hearts, and faith join. The billionaire shift is not just about personal breakthrough, it is about collective rising. There was once a chosen one who carried burdens silently. They thought their faith was meant to be solitary, and so their flame flickered low. Then one day, they stepped into community, sharing their story, adding their spark to the fire. What once felt like isolation became belonging, and what once felt like survival became strength. That is the mystery of unity. What you give multiplies, and what you receive sustains. The scriptures echo this mystery in Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verses 9 and 10. Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls, one can help the other up. This is why every small act matters. A like, a share, a comment, a connection. These are not trivial. They are flames joining flames, streams meeting streams. They turn solitary sparks into roaring fires. So let me speak plainly but gently. If this word has reached you, if it has touched your heart, let your flame be seen. Like this message, it is like adding your candle to the cathedral, making the light brighter for those still searching in the dark. Share it, and imagine opening a window in a locked room, letting fresh air sweep through. Someone you may never meet could breathe again because you allowed this word to flow beyond yourself. Comment, and let it be your mark of presence, like carving your name into the bark of a tree by the river. Long after you leave, the mark remains as testimony. I stood here. I believed here. And subscribe if you have not. Think of it as planting your roots beside a flowing spring, ensuring that no matter what storms rage, you remain nourished, connected, alive. Roots that stay near water do not wither. And if you feel stirred, consider donating. Not as payment. This word is already given freely, but as planting. Imagine walking through a desert and placing a small seed in the sand. The world calls it foolish, but heaven sees rain on the horizon. One day, that seed grows into a tree. Beneath its branches, weary travelers find shade, and generations gather fruit. Your gift is not lost. It becomes life for others. Chosen one. This is what generosity looks like. Not obligation, but beauty. Not pressure, but purpose. Each action like share, comment, subscribe, donate is not a demand, but an invitation. It is you stepping into the rhythm of unity, of multiplication, of shared fire. There was once a village that lived near a great river. Every household carried their own buckets of water, always struggling, always striving. One day, they decided to build channels, linking their buckets into a shared flow. Soon, the entire village thrived. The same principle is true here. Alone you shine, but together we blaze. Alone you endure, but together we overflow. The world is shaking. Darkness thickens. Yet here you are, flame in hand. River at your feet. Seed in your grasp. You have the choice to keep it or release it, to hide it or let it flow. Heaven will never force you. It will only invite you, chosen one. If your heart is moved, then let your act be it as simple like a share, a comment, a subscription, or a gift. Become your seed of unity. Watch how heaven takes even the smallest spark and turns it into fire that cannot be quenched. Your life is not just about your story, it is part of a greater chorus, a collective rising of God's chosen ones across the earth. And your flame, your river, your seed, it matters more than you know. So, lift your head, steady your heart, and let your act of faith flow outward. The fire is waiting for your spark. The river is waiting for your stream. The vineyard is waiting for your seed. And the world is waiting for the light you carry. Chosen one. The season of sudden acceleration brings with it something even greater. Responsibility for legacy. Every shift of wealth. Every opening of doors. Every release of favor is not simply for survival or personal comfort. It is for the building of something that will outlast you. Legacy is not written in the moments of applause, but in the quiet decisions you make when no one is watching. It is shaped not in one day of breakthrough, but in years of consistent faith. The billionaire shift places treasures in your hands. But heaven watches closely. Will you consume them, or will you construct with them? Think of Nehemiah rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. The task was not glamorous, it was exhausting, dangerous, and constantly opposed. Yet Nehemiah understood something powerful. He was not just stacking stones. He was raising a testimony. Every brick carried the weight of generations, yet unborn. For the wall would protect not only those alive, but their children and grandchildren. That is the essence of legacy. What you build protects and blesses those who come after you. The scriptures confirm this truth in the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 22. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. Inheritance here is not just financial, it is wisdom, faith, reputation, values, and testimonies. You, chosen one, are not only a receiver of legacy, you are a builder of it. There was once a chosen one who rose quickly in influence. At first, they enjoyed the spotlight, basking in recognition. But as time passed, they realized applause fades, wealth fluctuates, and people forget titles. What endures is what you leave behind. They shifted focus not from success, but from self to generations. They mentored, they sowed, they built. Today, even though their own life has ended, their impact continues through those they raised. This is the power of legacy. It outlives the vessel. Legacy is also a mirror of priorities. If your life revolves only around accumulation, your legacy ends when you do. But if your life revolves around transformation, your legacy flows like a river into the future. Rivers do not hoard water, they carry it forward. In the same way, the resources and wisdom placed in your hands are meant to flow forward into those who will walk after you. Chosen one, Do not underestimate the quiet seeds you plant today. A kind word to a child, a small act of generosity, a consistent prayer. They may seem small now, but they grow into mighty trees of legacy. Your grandchildren's grandchildren may drink from wells you dig in this season. Picture a mason carving stone for a cathedral. He knows he will never see the building completed. Yet he carves with excellence because he understands one day people will stand under the arches he helped raise. Legacy is not about seeing the finished product. It is about trusting that what you build now will serve purposes beyond your lifetime. Legacy also demands intentionality. It does not happen by accident. If you do not choose what you leave behind, the world will decide for you. And the world does not build eternal things, it builds fragile ones. This is why chosen ones must be deliberate. Write the vision. Teach the lessons. Sow the seeds. Build the structures. Do not assume others will carry your faith unless you pass it on with clarity. Consider the legacy of Abraham. God promised him descendants like the stars. Yet, Abraham's greatest act of legacy was not wealth, it was faith. Romans reminds us that his faith was credited as righteousness, and that same faith flows like blood into every generation after him. You carry the same opportunity now to build a legacy not only of possessions, but of faith that ignites future chosen ones. Legacy is also a shield. The prayers of a grandmother can protect a grandchild decades later. The generosity of a father can open doors for his children. The wisdom of a mother can guide decisions generations down the line. Your choices today are not isolated, they ripple forward. Chosen one. The billionaire shift is not the end of your story. It is the tool for your legacy. Wealth is not the crown, it is the hammer. Influence is not the treasure, it is the seed. What you choose to build with them will determine whether the shift dies with you or multiplies beyond you. So reflect deeply. What story are you writing? What inheritance are you building? What testimony will your name carry? Let your answer guide your steps. Walk as one who knows that every act is a brick, every decision a seed, every moment a chapter. And when your time comes to leave this earth, may your legacy still speak, still shine, still bless. Chosen one. The journey we have walked together through these words has been long, but each step has carried weight. Each moment has carried revelation. And now you arrive at the final stretch of this path, the place where everything converges, calling, refinement, responsibility, and destiny. From the beginning, you have been told you are different, marked, set apart, and that truth has not changed. What has changed is your awareness of it. The shaking of the world, the opening of doors, the whispers of heaven, they are all reminders that your life is not random. You were planted with intention. You are moving in rhythm with eternity. Think again of the imagery we have carried. The seed buried in darkness until it bursts forth. The vineyard tended in obscurity until it yields wine. The lamp flickering yet refusing to go out. The chariot waiting until the reins are steady. Each picture has been a window into your journey, showing that what may have felt hidden was never wasted. Scripture confirms this in the book of Job, chapter 23, verse 10. But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold. Now, that is your story. The testing has been real, the fire undeniable. But what emerges is gold refined, radiant, resilient, There was once a chosen one who lived years feeling overlooked. Their efforts seemed unnoticed, their sacrifices unseen, yet they remained faithful. And then, in a season they least expected, everything shifted. Opportunities appeared. Provision multiplied. Influence expanded. When asked how they endured so long, they replied simply, "I trusted that the fire was not to consume me, but to prepare me." Their testimony still speaks today. Chosen one. This is where you stand, at the edge of fulfillment, at the cusp of walking not only in calling but in clarity. The billionaire shift is not simply about resources, but about positioning. It is about lifting chosen ones into places where their voices can carry, their influence can shape, their faith can shine. And you are among them. But hear this carefully. The final test of every chosen one is not power, but humility, not abundance. But surrender. For what use is gold if it forgets the fire that shaped it? What use is authority if it forgets the one who gave it? To remain steady in the shift, you must keep your eyes lifted, your hands open, and your heart bowed low. Picture a torchbearer running through the night. The flame in their hand is not for them alone, it is for those waiting in the dark. The runner grows weary, but the flame must not go out. Others are waiting for its arrival. That is your life. The torch you carry is not just for you, it is for countless others who will be guided by your endurance, strengthened by your story, and emboldened by your light. The world is in desperate need of steady ones, voices that will not bend to fear, hands that will not close in greed, hearts that will not bow to pride. You, chosen one, are called to be one of those steady ones, a pillar in the storm, a lighthouse on the shore, a witness of grace in a generation stumbling in shadows. And so the journey leads here to resolve, not to chase what fades, but to build what endures, not to seek applause, but to walk in assignment, not to hoard treasure, but to steward it for impact. That is the calling of God's chosen ones. As you step forward from this moment, remember that destiny is not a distant dream, it is unfolding now. In the decisions you make today, each choice is a seed, each word a stone, each step a testimony. And as you walk, heaven walks with you, ensuring that what you build cannot be shaken, what you carry cannot be stolen, and what you become cannot be undone. The shift is here, the calling is clear, and your story, chosen one, is only beginning. Chosen one, breathe in this truth. You have been refined for such a time as this. Every trial, every silence, every hidden season was not wasted. It was chiseling you into the vessel you are now. What once felt like delay was preparation. What once seemed like loss was foundation. You are ready, not because the journey was easy, but because you endured. Step forward with courage. The flame in your hand will not go out. The oil in your lamp will not run dry. And the story of your life will not fade into shadows. You are written into eternity's song, and heaven rejoices to see you rise. Chosen one, if these words have carried you, if they have strengthened your spirit and given you vision for the days ahead, then let this not be the end. It is only the beginning of a greater journey. Every light you receive is meant to be shared. Every spark is meant to ignite another. Like this message, if you felt its flame burning within you, imagine it as placing your candle in a row of countless others, joining your glow to a sea of light that pushes back the shadows around the world. Share it with those who may be stumbling in silence. Think of it as opening a window in a room that has been closed too long, letting fresh air rush in and fill weary lungs with hope again. Comment something simple but true. Even just one phrase from your heart. It is like leaving your footprint on a long road. One day, another traveler will step into it and know they are not walking alone. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Consider it as planting your roots beside a flowing spring. No matter how the seasons change, the tree that stays near water will always remain alive and fruitful. And if you feel stirred, consider donating, not as obligation, but as beauty. Picture it as sowing a seed in soil you know is alive. Today, it may look small, but in time, it will grow into a tree of shade and fruit, blessing lives far beyond your own reach. Chosen one, this is your moment to take what you have received and let it ripple outward. For when we join our lights, streams, and seeds together, the world cannot remain the same.